High school youth groups are a huge focus in many churches. They see the importance of helping young adults grow in their relationship with Christ at an early age. But what about after they graduate from high school? Research shows that almost half the young adults who regularly attended church while in high school no longer do so while in college. While this doesn't necessarily dictate the loss of faith, it does open the door towards falling from Christ. I wondered what the church could do to continue to support the faith of young adults as they transition from high school through college into the workforce. Thus began my research. I began this journey by asking myself how I would help young adults strengthen their relationship with Christ. While researching articles on this topic, I found some alarming information that showed young adults have a drastic decrease in spirituality and faith practices as they move from high school to their early 20s. I began to dig further into the articles to see if there was corroboration on this problem by other researchers. I found numerous authors that supported this idea, so I decided to focus my research on this area. I broadened my search to learn more about high school spirituality and discovered young adults that were actively involved in high school youth groups experienced a broad range of benefits, from improved problem-solving skills to better health and a more satisfying life. I wondered, why then is there such a decline in spirituality if participants are experiencing these wonderful benefits? Yet the research was there. College-age students showed a dramatic decrease in faith practices. This made me wonder if there was something I could do to help strengthen the spirituality of college students. Yet my research was not complete. I knew if I were to reach out to some of my former high school youth group participants in college, I would need to do so through the internet. I still needed to learn the effects of faith and learning in an online environment. Through more digging, I discovered that it might indeed be possible to strengthen one's religiosity through the use of social networks. I also learned that participation in Facebook groups showed increased participation in offline activities, which I hoped might translate to increased participation in church services or Christian activities on campus. As a result of my findings, my problem statement evolved. My final problem statement was, I wonder what would happen if I provided a network of believers for college Christians through Facebook groups and held regular meetings on Zorapp.com. This marked the beginning of Cycle 1. While I knew much about computer software, I knew very little about how to use Internet Web 2.0 technologies to engage an audience. Through training in this program, I became very familiar with numerous Web 2.0 tools that could be used to reach out to students in college. The most effective tool I found was Zorapp.com. I discovered that Zorapp.com would allow me to invite students to a synchronous video chat session while logging in through their Facebook account. This was ideal because my intent was to create a Facebook group as well and have students post responses to various Christian topics. All of my past high school youth group participants were active in Facebook, so I thought it would provide the shortest learning curve. I sent out this tutorial video to 12 of my past youth group participants currently enrolled in college that showed interest in participating in our group. At this point in the program, I was now very familiar with the Google Docs suite and learned how easy it was to disseminate and manage survey data. I gave each participant a pre-survey to try to gain a better understanding on their current relationship with God in the hopes that our meetings would strengthen that relationship. Now that I had become well-versed in screen capture through ScreenFlow, I thought a great way to collect qualitative data would be to record the sessions. While there was fairly high interest in the online Christian group initially, only half the interested participants chose to go to one or more of the meetings, and there were never more than 3 participants at any given session. The postings in our Facebook group page were also sparse at best. I realized quickly that this was a result of the way Facebook sets up notifications. At the time of my Cycle 1 research, Facebook did not notify members of the group if someone had posted in the group. As a result, most participants did not check the group for new postings, and the group quickly faded. Facebook recently changed their procedures for notifications, and now they do notify you whenever someone has posted something new in a group you are a member of. I believe if this had been the case when we met, our group would have been much more successful. While our numbers were small, the participants that did attend were excited about the group and chose to have us continue beyond the conclusion of the Cycle 1 research. I gave the post-survey to the participants that attended at least one meeting to conclude Cycle 1. The conclusion of Cycle 1 gave me a lot to think about. While the young adults I had invited showed interest, there was very little participation. I began to wonder more and more about why young adults were straying from the faith during college. This led me into Cycle 2 and a series of qualitative interviews to determine the most significant factors affecting someone's faith during the critical years following high school and into their early 20s. For Cycle 2, I called 18 adults ranging in age from 30 to 43 years old and asked them 11 questions to determine their spiritual activity in high school, college, and after college, and what activities they were involved in during those times. In order to be able to review the data I had collected, I I recorded our conversations using GarageBand. These conversations proved to be very insightful into the issue that I was researching, and I believe I've come up with some powerful data that can help provide possible solutions for young adults to maintain their faith after leaving high school. The quantitative survey results from Cycle 1 pointed to a slight increase in connectedness with God, which would be consistent with the duration of our meetings. However, I do not believe these results are reliable since only 3 of my participants did both the pre- and post-survey. The qualitative data taken from my recordings did prove more valuable. It seemed to show that the greatest contributing factor to maintaining a strong faith in college is participation in a faith-based organization. It also indicated that a lack of participation in church or another faith-based organization can cause an individual that was previously spiritually active to feel an internal lacking that the participant described as a spiritual void. My results from Cycle 2 were much more conclusive. 5 of the 18 participants stated a change in beliefs away from Christianity as they passed through college, and 1 participant stated they became a Christian while in college. 17 of the 18 participants stated that they were more spiritually active in high school than in college, and 14 of those stated a decrease in Christian faith during that time. Only 2 participants claimed similar levels of involvement in Christian activities while in college, and both cited similar or increased levels of faith upon leaving college. While the Cycle 1 quantitative data was inconclusive, the qualitative data reinforced the assumption that a simple lack of participation in Christian activities can have a profound effect on the individual's relationship with God. In hindsight, I realized that I probably would have been more successful with the Zorap College group in Cycle 1 if I had had the information from Cycle 2 first. I believe that sharing the things I learned with the participants might have helped to light more of a spark of interest and urgency in them regarding the importance of being active in their faith. The data from Cycle 2 really helped give me a glimpse into my initial problem statement. Most of the participants stated high levels of involvement in religious and spiritual activities while in high school, but linked church attendance to parent expectations. The reduction in spiritual activities was a byproduct of being on one's own and facing the expectations of college. 4 of the 5 individuals that stated they were no longer Christians after college mentioned they had in-depth conversations with people of different or no religious background. They stated that this was a major point of difficulty in maintaining their own faith. After reviewing all of the data, I believe that Christian youth are more likely to fall from their faith if they've never had a chance to challenge their beliefs or engage in in-depth conversations about their faith while in the strong faith support system they have during high school. I also believe the common thread of a reduction in faith while in college is the result of a decrease in spiritual activity during those years. These 2 reasons appear to be the most significant contributing factors to a reduction in perceived faith and religiosity. My research has shown me that high school youth programs need to do more to address meaningful Christian issues. Many Christian youth group programs spend a lot of energy making the youth group enjoyable for students, but don't get a chance to get into the in-depth conversations about what it means to accept Jesus into your heart. A greater focus on the Christian issues young adults have to deal with in college, like living with a non-Christian, may help empower youth to stand firm when on their own. A greater emphasis placed on the church body to maintain Christian relationships with college students may help the students cope with adjustments to college life as well. Many students cited a lack of participation in Christian activities because no one expected them to be an active Christian. If the church body partners with graduating seniors, this may provide a support group for them to stay strong in their faith while away from their church family. I believe students must also have the opportunity to discuss what it means to have a relationship with other faith practices and how they can remain strong in their Christian faith while respecting the different religious practices of other people. Finally, I think it is important to make graduating high school seniors aware that they can lose the power of their relationship with God if they aren't active in their faith while in college. Sometimes a simple awareness of the situation can empower a person to make changes in their own lives. I would like to continue research in this area, but begin a new focused age range from 22 to 30 years old, specifically from past active youth group members of the church I attend. This local set of data may help me to get a better understanding of whether the practices involved in the current youth group are effective in empowering the young adults for the faith challenges they'll face in college. Once I have more data from this age group, I will consider using a learning management system like Schoology to allow college students to connect with each other and college ministry topics. I believe this would be another way to engage a group of college students and keep them connected. This research project has opened my eyes into the faith challenges college students face. It is my hope that the grace of God that my continued research is able to help church youth programs find more effective ways to prepare youth for the faith challenges they'll face in college.